Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. Today is the 23rd of December, so it is technically Christmas Eve. So, all right, we got everybody here, so just going to go down and have everybody say hi. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hey Adam, how are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. If I'm blurry or shaky, I'm actually on the West Coast right now, and so I'm working off my work laptop, which isn't quite as powerful as my desktop at home. So, anyways, Hernan, how's it going?
Hey Adam, hey everyone. It's really good to be here.
Hey, Marco, how you doing?
Hey everybody, what's up?
And real quick, before we get to Bradley, if you guys haven't checked out our blog lately and seen some of these posts that Marco's been putting out, you need to head over to the blog right after Hump Day Hangouts and go read those. But we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
So. Bradley, how's it going?
Good. It looks like you and I are the only festive ones today.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling Chris has got something laying around, but we'll see if he puts it on. So
Make sure you turn the blinking on, Chris.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we got a few announcements today. Something I noticed earlier this week, and I can't say for sure whether it's still available, but I heard that MainWP is going to a subscription model for all of their extensions. So if you are a MainWP user, or if you've been thinking about it, what we generally use it for is for just auto-updating or quickly updating and keeping control of WordPress sites. Oh, wow. That's awesome, Chris.
I had to click on him so everyone could see it.
But we'll put a link in here. Go check it out because you can grab them all right now, or you can buy one or two if you want them. But I think it's in 26, like in the first maybe or something like that. They're going to change the subscription. And then also,
guys, and let me jump in for a minute because if any of you guys are doing any type of network, your own hosted networks, then it's something you should absolutely use. And you can even set up MainWP and monitor your own and manage your own lead gen sites or client sites even for that matter. And it just makes it a hell of a lot quicker and easier, more efficient to update stuff. And it's got a lot of really cool extensions too. So absolutely check it out before they go to a subscription model because otherwise you're going to be paying monthly for stuff that you can get now for one-offs.
And that said, though, I think just the base monitoring is free. I may be wrong because I've been using it for years, so I've never I've kind of been grandfathered in. Okay, cool. So regardless, check it out. It's an awesome product. On our end, we're going to have a holiday sale starting tomorrow at 12:01 a.m. Eastern. So hopefully you saw the email. We told you that's going to happen. We've included some additional Search Space products in there, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll be giving you guys the link on our social platforms as well as sending out an email and let you know all about that so you can go check that out. We're not going to spoil it. I'm just going to say it's going to be pretty awesome. So check it out. And then if you haven't yet, please go to SearchSpace and sign up for your free account. We got some good stuff coming down the pipeline, and there's going to be some perks for people who sign up. So I'll pop the link in there, but it's a free account. There's no sort of paywall or anything like that. You just sign up, and then you can check it all out. So anyways, like I said, I'll put the link in. So anybody else got some announcements?
Nope, I think that's it. I don't have anything.
Good deal. All right, well, let's get started.
All right, good. That way I can take this hat out.
I have one. Wait a minute. Santa Claus is coming to town.
And actually, sorry about that, I do have one more. Marco, I said I'd come back to you. Do you mind giving people a little, obviously you can talk to it better. You've had two pretty awesome blog posts in the last couple of weeks. If you want to just tell people about those real quick so they can see if that's what they want to go check out.
Okay, so the first one I did was regarding the Google Dance. We all knew that it took place. We couldn't put our finger on it. We didn't know why. We just knew that it happened, and we knew that when it was going on, you just left things pretty much alone, or you just kept going on schedule and not deviating. And now we know why it happens and for how long, and we also know why. And so we can we actually have the metrics and everything that Google uses, and why Google applies this to your website. And it's actually it's a mousetrap. It's to totally catch you doing your SEO, and okay, there we have an SEO operating, and then you'll get sandboxed, and you're not likely to get your rankings back. But it goes, I go into all the detail if you want to go look at it. It's called the Google Dance. So go take a look. The other one is I predicted the death of the PBN. So I'm playing Nostradamus right now. I'm predicting that they're going to die, and I went on and explained why. and I think that the research is actually really good. The research that I've done, the foundation is solid, and it's not theory because anyone that does PBNs has seen that they get diminishing returns. We've been saying that it's been due to link loss, right? We figure, oh, well, it's power, it's link loss. Now we know that it's not actually just link loss or loss of power. We know why it happens, and I go on to explain it in the blog post and why it happens. So for those of you who want to know how to rank in 2016 and beyond, because it's not just for 2016, it's just how to rank, period, and how to stay on top, then go and have a read. Yeah. Make for good holiday reading. Merry Christmas.
Some light SEO reading for the holidays.
Yeah, and Mark also coined a new term, which I think is pretty badass. So you can read it over there as well. So.
Awesome. PRNs, baby.
Yeah, PRNs. It's what does it stand for? It's Public Ranking Networks, right, Marco?
That's correct. That's what's working.
Cool.
Okay, is that it?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, one thing I wanted to mention was Merry Christmas to all. Happy holidays. We'll be back here before New Year's, so we'll get a chance to wish you Happy New Year's next week. But just want to wish everybody a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And I'd say God bless to all of you and all of your families. We've had a wonderful year, and we're really looking forward to next year as well. And over the next few days, just spending time with family is going to be good. Some time off, even for us. So, I think I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas for that. And so, also, we did do I don't know if we ever posted the video somewhere, but we had a Merry Christmas video that we were going to post out too. Did we do that yet, Adam?
Shh.
Oh. Well, pay attention. Be looking out for that. So. All right, guys. Well, we got a few questions already, so let's jump right into them, and we'll roll through it as we often do. So Mark O'Connell says, hey, guys, hope you're well. I have some questions for you. Sorry if these ones have been answered, but I've been going through your webinars like a maniac playing catch-up, so a lot of information to digest there from the Semantic SEO banquet. I like that. I'm going to +1 that. When you're using the subdomain method, do you use the same blog to link to each subdomain if they're just different locations? Or does each subdomain get its own blog? Each subdomain gets its own site, if that's what you mean. Like if you're talking about for like local, for example, and using subdomains, for different locations, then yeah, each subdomain is going to have its own blog. It's going to have its own WordPress install, if that's what you mean. I think that's what you're asking. And yes, each one's going to have a separate. Let's see, same blog to link. No, you wouldn't use the same blog to link to each subdomain. I'm not even sure what you mean with that. So yes, again, it's going to be each subdomain is going to have its own WordPress installation on it. Okay. If you
and also, sorry, Bradley, but I think that each subdomain gets its own blog, yeah, and the same blog to link to each subdomain. I mean, each subdomain will be treated as a standalone money site, so they will get their own blog and they will get their own network as well. So, I mean, they will be treated as standalone.
Well. They can get their own network. It depends. You can use one single branded network for all subdomains if you wanted. It just depends on it depends on what you need. It depends on how strong the competition is and what exactly you need. And I can't answer that for you in this question. There's not enough information. But like for example, I do a lot of tree service stuff, and I've got a bunch of tree service sites on subdomains for this one particular company that buys leads from me. And we just have one branded network for that. And all the subdomains feed into that one branded network. And that's it. Because it's not really necessary. I was able to accomplish with one network what I needed to. If you find that you have one branded network and you're not able to get the results that you want, then you can do subdomain specific networks, which essentially would still be the brand. It would still be a branded network, but you would add the geographic modifier in there, like the city name or however you divide up your, however you build it out. So it's just because it's still the same brand, it's just a different location, right? So you could do that as well. If you don't use the same blog, or if you do just use the same blog, do you put the blog on a subdomain? Again, that's not what we do, so that's not how it would work. Is there a limit to how many subdomains you can use per money site? Would you only do a small geographic location, or is it countrywide okay? I would like to do an England-wide site, or would you just advise to go city by city and subdomain the suburbs? Well, see, I usually do state. Like I usually go by city subdomains, and typically my sites, I haven't really done any that are big enough to where I've had to do more than 10 or 12 subdomains. That's usually about as big as a contractor area, as a contractor wants to service. So you just got to remember, though, having subdomains is great because each site, like Hernan mentioned, is considered a standalone site. So that's also a good way to protect a brand or a domain, is by building out on subdomains, so that in case the subdomain catches a penalty, it's not going to destroy the root domain and all of the pages, posts, and subdomains attached to it. But you have to be careful, though, because I don't personally like to have a subdomain or a site with more than a dozen, 15 subdomains tops. Not that you can't, you certainly can, but I would just be careful with that. If you're thinking about doing something like like a directory site or something like that, then you could use multiple domains and just split it up a little bit. That's my own personal preference. But I know you can do more if you wanted to. So Hernan, what's your take on that?
Well, and this is for foreign niches. I mean, I know it's kind of different. I mean, you're going for England, and I've seen that big websites, when they're trying to go like countrywide, they will usually go subdomains, but they will use subdomains a bit different. Instead of going geographic, they will go niche-wise. Like, for example, I have this domain, and then on a foreign niche, and then I would go, for example, niche.a.domain.com, and then all the cities. Then niche B, that it could be like, for example, creditcards.domain.com. Then it will be paydayloans.domain.com. Then forex.domain.com, etc. So if you're going that broad, I would suggest that you go for niche instead of state or something like that.
Instead of
but again,
subs.
Yeah, instead of locations, that you would use the locations as categories.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's kind of interchangeable depending on how big your competition is. Because again, as Bradley was saying, if you're going for the states of the U.S., you will need to do 52 different websites. If that's the case. So.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. What advice do you have for turning the main site copy into unique for each subdomain? Sounds like a lot of work to keep the copy good if you have even a few clients. Yeah, it is. But my advice is, this question gets asked often, and what I've always done for that is I just hire different writers for each location. If that's how, and again, if Hernan was, and apparently that's what it sounds like you're doing, is more location instead of niche division. But what I always do is just hire different writers. So that way it's 100% unique. Instead of trying to use the same content across multiple sites and changing it, because then you get into spinning and all that, I just hire different writers so that it's completely unique content for everyone. And it's just a cost of the build. So I just factor that in when I'm projecting my costs out for whatever project it is that I'm working on. It's just part of, it's just part of a build. So, and it's not that expensive. But you can go to places and get content, from 15 different writers if you needed to, and that way you're going to have 15 unique versions of copy for, and the only thing that's going to be, it'll be for different areas, but they're all going to be unique versions anyways because they're written by completely different people. Mm-hmm. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, and here's the deal. I mean, it would all depend on, because going after a big website, like going after, I don't know, all of the dentists in United States, all of the states, that's a big project, Yeah. And sometimes you need, like, it's a 2 or 3 years project, and sometimes you need a big team and a big chunk of change to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we usually advise is that you go as Bradley is doing, go for a market in an area. Then once you're monetizing that, you use that money to expand, because we've heard a lot of people, going after the big price, which is completely fine, but you need to make a living out of that, and that's an expensive project. If you have the team and if you have the resources, go for it. But usually if you're a one-man gang, which is, you know, the majority of our students, then we would suggest that you go one state at a time, that dominate it, and move on to the next state, because again, you will be building domain authority and trust flow as you move forward and as you take over more and more states. So you know, the states that you start building subsequently will be easier than the first one, because the first one, the domain was virgin, quote unquote. So right. I think that's
a good point, because, you know, I would start with a particular region and build that out first, because like Hernan said, you want to start generating revenue. All too often we get people that submit questions to us and through various forums with these huge projects that they want to start with, and they take hours developing a strategy and even graphics to correspond with it when they ask the question, and they present us with this freaking novel of information, you know, like with graphics and designs and structural designs and all of this, and it's like so overcomplicated. And it's like, why don't you just get started with one city, one location, and get that monetized, you know, get it ranked, get it monetized and generating revenue, and then build upon that, because you're going to learn so much along the way from just building out one location to begin with, and start developing processes along the way. And that's the other recommendation that I have, is that when you start off with a smaller location, a smaller area, whether it's a city or a region or whatever, then as you're going through the process of building that out, make sure that you're documenting the process so that you can really systematize it. So, because especially if you're talking about doing something on a large scale, like what you're talking about here, Mark, you're going to want to have that systematized as quickly as possible so that it can scale. If you're doing this on your own, or if you're just doing it, you know, bits and pieces at a time, and you're not actually documenting a process for it, then it's going to end up becoming a very cumbersome and time-consuming task that instead could have been systematized and outsourced or scaled very, very quickly once the process is in place, right? And then you'll also have cost projections and everything else figured out, which is really, really important as well, because it's all too easy to invest too much time and money into a project before it starts to give a return, and you don't want that. Right? You want to be profitable as quickly as possible, both in revenue and with your time as well. You want to get your time back too. So, sounds like a good project. Recommend you start small and then build from there. You can always build upon successes and eliminate failures as you go. Okay, John says, hello, Q for the Hump Day Hangouts. Please clarify how you recommend setting up the different accounts, Tier 1, Tier 2 branded. Here is what I think you recommend. Tier 1 branded, your money site or client site or YouTube channel at the center, and you build out roughly 20 sites, site profiles using the same name, Boston Plumbing Experts, same logo, same bio description, and then link all the sites together. That is correct. Tier 2 non-branded are persona accounts. For each persona, you create a blog on WordPress, Blog, or Tumblr at the center for a person like John Smith, and you create roughly 20 sites all branded with John Smith with name, image, bio description, and again, you can link them. Yes, except that the three blogs that you mentioned, WordPress, Blogger, and Tumblr, those aren't actually created for Tier 2s. Those are actually created during the Tier 1 process. You're going to use the WordPress, Blogger, and Tumblr from your Tier 1 network. Okay, those are going to be the trigger points for Tier 2. All right, so you don't need to. You would still create a WordPress, Blogger, and Tumblr for each of the Tier 2 rings, but those would be secondary or Tier 2 sites, not the center, not the trigger point. The trigger points would be Tier 1. Okay, so but you got your concept right. This feels different to the SendWire account setup on gigs on Fiverr, which talk about setting up 20 different personas and 20 accounts. But I think you regard those as orphans likely to be deleted. You got it. This does feel differently than the SendWire account setup because it is different. You know, part of the reason why our networks work so well is because we interlink everything the way that we do, and we're building an identity. The identity is really what makes them strong, because we're in the semantic web, guys, in the early stages of it still, but we are into the semantic web, or Web 3.0, and identity is very, very important. It's a kind of currency on the web now, is to have an identity, and if you don't have an identity, then the backlinks that you would build from there are disregarded, or diminished considerably. So that's part of the reason why we do that, and also because the orphaned accounts are likely to be terminated. It happens often, but when you have a stronger identity, as long as you're not spamming the hell out of them, they will last for a long time. I've got IFTTT networks that are going on 3.5 years old now that are still alive and well today, and those are very powerful, by the way, because they've been posted to for three plus years, and all themed as well. So some of those are really, really powerful. But yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't recommend. SendWire is a different tool. It's a different thing. Even with SendWire, though, when I set up a SendWire account set, I still do it the way that we do our IFTTT or build our IFTTT networks, and that's where I set up a one profile, and then build out all the accounts under that one profile, and I still interlink them, and even add some additional sites into the network for that profile that aren't included in SendWire, like Gravatar and About.me. And why? Because those are semantic hubs that interlink all of those to kind of give it that semantic relationship between all of the other properties. It's very, very powerful. Okay. Do you ever connect?
Just in case anyone's interested, what we're doing is what Tim Berners-Lee calls the giant global graph, and you can just Google it. But he coined the term so that people could, not people, but machines could distinguish between the nature and significance of the content of what's now on the web. Okay, so it's just a way to distinguish everything. And what we do is we point everything so that when the machine comes in, when the algorithm comes in, or the bot, or wherever you want to call it, it can distinguish what we're doing and actually categorize it and say, okay, I understand distinctly, and this is where it goes, and then it can decide way better how to rank it. Otherwise, you're just letting Google in, and it's going to have to decide how to rank it and where to rank it and what it's about, and now you have a math problem trying to do all of this without guidance, and you're in trouble.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is, if you've got an account on, I don't know, Diigo or something, like, let's just use a bookmark account. That's fine, Diigo, right? Which or Delicious, which is by the way, it's a Google Data Hub partner, social data hub partner. So let's say that you got a Delicious account out there, and it's got no connection, no identity. It's just an account out there that's building links to whatever it is that you send to that account. Then is that as valuable as a Delicious account that has a profile image and a bio and is linked to all of the other properties of the same profile, with the same profile, I mean, that and all the content is all related around the same theme, the same niche, the same topic? Which link is more powerful? Again, it gets back to what we're talking about, relevancy in trust flow and topical trust flow, and that's what we manipulate when we have these theme networks. So, again, the SendWire strategy, look, it works for certain things. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not bad-mouthing SendWire, but what we do is just it's just a little bit more. It takes more work to do up front, but it also, through our testing, provides better results. And you can still do the same thing with SendWire. You can just create the account sets with a strong identity for each set. And then you can group your sets inside of SendWire to do the same thing, where you can set them up as themed groups, and that's how I do it. Okay, I don't use that tool nearly as much as I near as much as I used to, though, because it still does a lot of spun content and stuff, and I'm just not keen on spun content for links. But it's fine for YouTube videos as well. Caesar says, hello. How can you transfer a Google Plus local or branded to a newly created Google Plus profile? The reason I made this mistake. The reason is I made a mistake and created 2 client sites on my personal G Plus, and I want to keep them separated. Thanks again. All right, I'm going to pause the screen for a minute and pull up G Plus account so I can show you how to do this, but I need to get into my G Plus account. So I'm going to pause the screen for just a moment.
And so now is the time for commercials.
Yeah, intermission.
This Hump Day Hangout is brought to you by Semantic Mastery.
We need some endorsements so we can start selling ad space, 30-second slots.
Definitely.
30-second slots. All right, come on, Google.
Hernan, how's the weather down in Argentina?
It's right now it's about to rain, but it's been like hot as a furnace over the past couple of days. Buenos Aires is hot and humid, so you can ask Marco as well. He loves the weather here.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like Christmas here in Virginia either. It's 70 degrees outside, and it's like, come on, man. I want it to be cold, and
yeah.
So, all right, here I'm gonna grab the screen back, and then Hernan, I think I'm gonna use you. Actually, you know what? I'll use who wants to volunteer, Adam or Hernan, for me to make a manager?
Not me. I'm on my laptop, so things are a little slower.
I will.
All right, we're gonna make Hernan the manager for a minute. All right, can you guys see everything?
Is that the spammy account that you want to endorse me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the pharma account. No, this is one that I've used in I never ended up building out this project. It was had good intentions to, but I never did. So this is a good one to use. Anyways, this is a Google Plus page. So you're logged into your main account. Who asked the question? Caesar. You're logged into your main Google account, your main Google profile. Then you go to the drop-down menu. You know, go to Pages. You click on Pages. Then you're going to select the page that you want to transfer. In this case, I'm going to use this one as an example. So from here, we want to click on the menu, and we're going to come down here to the settings icon. In fact, because this is the new and improved Google Plus experience, there's a managers button right here. So otherwise, you'd go to settings, and it would be across the top. There'd be a tab for managers. We're going to click on managers, and then right here, you're going to see it says invite new managers. So I'm going to invite Hernan Vasquez, and I'm going to select manager, and I don't know what communications manager is. That's a new title. I'm gonna have to.
Don't touch it just in case, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to break anything. I'll have to investigate that one, but
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and click. I'm gonna go ahead and click invite. Okay. So now Hernan's gonna get a notification in Google Plus, and probably as well in his social tab of Gmail.
Yep.
It's gonna say that he's been invited to be a page manager.
Let's look for it real quick.
Okay. And I'm just gonna wait while he finds it, and if not, Hernan, I'll send you the link for the actual page, and when you visit the page, it'll say you've been invited to be a manager of this page.
Because I haven't get anything, but...
Okay, let me do that then.
Not yet.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a few minutes before it comes in, so I'm just going to send this to you instead. Page ID is that one there, okay. Got to get rid of all this other garbage. Okay, I'm going to send this to you in chat, and then you should be able to visit the page, and it'll ask you to become a manager.
Sure. Okay, let's do that.
Let me make sure that that is what it's supposed to be, because these URLs have gotten funny too. Nope, that's not it.
Yeah, they've changed. But that's yeah, right. Okay, if you had a B.
You got it? That's all right. Here, I'm just going to go visit the page. That'll give me the actual URL. Here we go. The extension is different. You see how it says on the one I just sent to you says business.google.com?
Yeah.
That's why it's weird. Now, if it's just plus.google.com, it should be the same page ID.
Okay.
But here, let's just double check it before I send it to you.
Okay.
Whoops, wrong button. Yep, that's it. Okay, here you go.
Okay, this is live, guys, so bear with us.
But that's all right. This is good experience.
Yeah.
All right, you got it?
Yeah, I got it, but I'm still waiting. Oh, yeah, I have it here. You've been invited to
become a page manager.
Yeah.
Right. So accept that, please.
Yes.
And tell me once it's done.
All right, it's done.
Okay. So now if I come back over here and click on managers again, you're going to see that I might have to refresh. Let's try it again. Come back over here. I told Caesar that I would answer this for him in Facebook. So now you'll see that Hernan is no longer an invited manager. He's now a manager. See that? So now all I have to do is click on this, and I can make him must be a manager for 1 day before becoming the owner. So in 24 hours, I can come back here and click on this drop down, and it will allow me to assign him as the owner. And then once I say click on the owner button, then it'll bring up a pop-up window that says, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you absolutely certain?" Because Hernan's a jerk. It's going to say something like that. And then I'll check the box to say yes, I'm sure, and then I'll complete it. Once I do that, it'll make him the owner. So that's how you do it, guys. It's really simple to do. Just all you do is, once again, just to walk through the steps, log as your main Google profile, go to Pages. So go to your navigation bar, go down to Pages, select the page that you want to transfer. Once you're on this screen, open up the menu, go to Managers, add the manager that you want, the Google account that you want to be in a manager that you're ultimately going to transfer it to. Click Invite. Make sure you're logged in maybe Firefox or another browser, or tell your client to be looking out for it, or send them the link to the page, and when they visit the page they can become a manager there. Then come back 24 hours later, and then go back to the same steps, go pull up Managers, and then find the drop down, and there will be an option for you to assign them as the owner. And then you're going to confirm it, and then it's done. It's that easy. And that one, if you got an attached YouTube channel with it, it'll transfer the YouTube channel over as well.
Yeah. So basically, you need to put me as an owner of every page that you own, Cesar, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to say careful with Hernando.
Merry Christmas from Hernan.
All right, so hopefully that helps, Caesar. Bill says, when linking from your main site to your subdomains, you want no-follow the links, correct? On the Semantic Mastery site, what is the reason for no-following the main nav, about, and hangout links? I'm curious about this since they are folders on the main domain. Well, they're not, Bill. I no-follow is because it's called PageRank sculpting. It's something that we just talked about last week, I think, during Hump Day Hangouts. I'm pretty sure it was last week. If not, it was 2 weeks ago. Somebody asked a very similar question. But like the About page, why would we want to rank that? Like, honestly, I could care less about pushing any juice to the About page. So I no-follow tag those in the menu settings of WordPress. Just like the terms of service and privacy policy and the Contact Us page. All of those pages really there's no need for them to receive any page rank, right? Or any link equity. So I always no-follow those. As far as the Hump Day Hangouts, because the Hump Day Hangouts is a redirect, all it is a redirect link to a Google Events page like this very page we're looking at now. So why would I want to transfer any of our PageRank over to Google? They got enough of it. You know what I mean? Google's got enough PageRank. They don't need any of mine. So I no-follow that. Those aren't subfolders. That one was a redirect link. Those other pages, like the About page and Contact pages, those are pages. They're not folders, but they're pages that really deserve no link equity. So there's no reason to push it over there, right? You want to conserve it and direct it to the pages that matter, not the pages that don't matter, right? Okay, next, I'm guessing that links to other properties owned or even affiliate links should be no-followed as well. Yeah, I always do. I mean, I always know, unless I'm trying to specifically push juice to or equity to a particular site or a page, then I no-follow it. In fact, I usually no-follow all outbound links on money sites. 100%. And it's easy to do because you just put a plugin on your site. It's called no-follow external links, and there's several versions of it. I mean, there's several versions of plugins that do the exact same thing where you can no-follow all external links, and then you don't even have to think about it. Just whenever you create an external link, it no-follows it. Okay? That's what I like to do for money sites. PBN sites, different. PBN sites, I leave all links to do follow because I'm not trying to make a clear footprint that, if you have no-followed all links on PBN sites except for links that point to your money site, then that's a clear indication of what you're doing. So don't do that. All right. Thanks, guys. I've implemented many things I've learned here with great results. Much appreciated, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I will +1 that. Bought VideoX product and have paid for it with profit several times over already. Good share and great timing. With the clicks are still cheap. Yeah, that's that Video Extreme by Justin Sardi. That's a great product. YouTube ads are great. I love them. They're fun to set up too. Rick says, hey, Merry Christmas to all of you, and thanks so much for your help. I've seen Fiverr gigs for submissions of content to document and file sharing sites like Scribd, DocStockBox, and MediaFire. Is this a useful tactic? Yeah, that's one of the tactics that have been around since the dawn of SEO. Doc sharing sites, yeah, it's still useful. Just be careful with what you're doing, as far as links within the PDFs and things like that. But yeah, it's absolutely so useful. And some of those properties are really, really, really high, authority type sites.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I would use it as a tier 2 still because usually these Fiverr gigs they will use all the same account, so your doc will be sharing links with go to know what. But
God knows what, right?
Yeah, so I would still use it as a tier 2 or to push link shoes in maybe an internal page of an IFTTT network properties like that.
Or even link to your semantic hubs on tier 1.
You
could do that as well, which, you know, again, like your Google Plus About page, or your Gravatar page, or About.me, anything like that, where you got a list of links that are pointing to your, you know, your other tier 1 properties, your other branded properties. That's a good place to point stuff like that. And then you can spam those, the actual PDF files.
Yep.
So, how does this compare to RYS Tactics? Is this a good complement? Well, you know, we kind of do something like that in RYS, right? We just use Google Drive files with PDFs, and that's absolutely part of one of the methods in there, one of the modules, right? And we, by the way, we do that inside of the IFTTT networks, guys. Remember, we're using Google Drive and what's the other one? The Microsoft OneNote. Yeah, Microsoft OneNote. And so whenever you set up your IFTTT networks and you upload a video or stream a video to your channel and it syndicates, or you publish a blog post and it syndicates, it's going to create a Word doc or a document that goes automatically to Google Drive and to OneNote with links. Right? And so those are tier 1 properties. So you're doing what you're talking about here. As Hernan said, I totally agree. Fiverr gigs suck for SEO, guys, unless you're doing it strictly for spamming. I don't use Fiverr for SEO stuff unless you're doing it like on a churn and burn strategy, or even sometimes for YouTube videos. But even then, I don't like to do that. If I'm doing Fiverr gigs for YouTube videos, it's stuff like retweets, because those are social embeds. I don't really do any sort of link building through Fiverr at all, ever. I haven't done that for 2 years, at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's because, like Hernan said, those, you got to figure, guys, you pay $5, or maybe it's $5.50 now per gig, but the provider only gets what, $4?
Yeah, $4.
And so, yeah, and so they're selling the same service to dozens and even hundreds of people, and it's a massive footprint. So I keep that shit far away from my money sites and anything that I care about.
And okay. I would also add, without going too deeply into RYS Tactics here, that what we do is way different from what these people are doing in Fiverr gigs.
Oh, yeah.
Because we actually show how to manipulate the title, the description on the document, how to fill it with keywords, where to do it, how to build the spiderweb silo inside the Drive folder. And yeah, you could then take those documents and then submit them to these file sharing sites. You could do that, but they would need to have all of the components that we add inside RYS for them to be that much more effective, and then to bring juice back into the RYS folder.
Yeah, like metadata and NAP and all the stuff that we do.
All of that, stacked iframes, you name it.
Next question, Kevin. How do we run? Okay, it's either you or we run YouTube ads for products from our Shopify stores or other e-com platforms. I am selling T-shirts on Gearbubble.com, which is a print and ship site where my store is just a page on their main site. Since they print and ship for me through their site, it is very hands-free. But now I'm worried that I won't be able to run YouTube ads because I don't own Gearbubble, thus can't verify it with YouTube. Kevin, you don't have to you can run YouTube ads to any domain, okay, as long as it meets AdWords guidelines. It doesn't have to be your own. Okay, so in other words, you don't have to own the Gearbubble.com domain to run YouTube ads to your page on that site, because as long as that page meets AdWords compliance for, you know, which has the proper link, the navigation links which it requires, and it has to have the disclaimer, privacy policy, terms of service, those types of standard pages which you can just Google, AdWords compliance to find out if it does. But the other thing you could do is put up a bridge page, which essentially would be a page that describes the product that you're trying to promote. If you were worried about it, you could have it on your own domain, run traffic to your own domain, your own page, which would be a landing page that would then click over to that the Gearbubble page. But again, as long as the Gearbubble page is AdWords compliant, you can run YouTube ads there. You do not have to verify a domain inside of YouTube to run ads to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's in case you want to add annotations with links.
That's right.
That's again to your videos. But again, for YouTube ads, you need to make sure that you can send links to an affiliate page in that case. I know that AdWords has been like more permissive lately because they were losing a ton of market share because of Facebook ads.
That's right.
And they have become more and more permissive. And now it's happening the other way around because Facebook has been closing accounts like crazy, but now they were, losing share, etc. So yeah, but you need to make sure that you're sending to AdWords compliant account.
As long as it's a compliant page, you're okay. That's the whole point. And their compliance terms have gotten kind of weird. The last couple promotions we've done, like for example, Video Extreme, AdWords is requiring a disclaimer if any quote is made by any person, real or fictional, on the page. If there's a quote, like something that somebody has said, whether it's claiming any type of results or not, even if it's just a fact, like today is Christmas, you have to put a results vary, individual results vary type of disclaimer underneath that quote. Even if it's a fact that cannot be disputed, it has to have a disclaimer. And it's really weird because I think it's stupid, but it is what it is, and for cheap clicks, I'll still do it,
Yep.
So, hey guys, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. If I'm a new RYS user, or I am a new RYS user, I'm just starting to watch the training videos and wanted to know which will be the best approach to apply RYS to affiliate marketing. I create my own money sites regularly. Should I use RYS to link to and rank my money sites, or should I try to rank the G properties instead? And lastly, and then I'm going to answer all three, and we'll is, as you know, affiliate offers are more competitive than local most of the times. Did you have success trying to rank G properties for affiliate promoting? Okay, RYS kicks ass for launch jacking because we've proven that a couple times now in Masterclass series, our coaching series for Masterclass. It just kicks ass because those terms are newer terms, and the drive files, they rank like crazy. So for launch jacking, it's just a great strategy. It works really, really well. If you're creating your own money sites, should you use RYS to link to and rank your money site? Yes. Or should I try to rank the G properties instead? Yes.
Both.
The answer to both is yes. Do both. Why stop at one? The point is you try to rank, or you should rank the RYS files, but the RYS files or the drive files should be building links to your money site anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So in turn, it's going to help you to rank your money site.
Yep.
Yep.
And we've been in communication with Facundo. Hello, Facu. How are you doing? And he's from Argentina as well. And he jumped into RYS. He was really excited. So I asked him that he could, ask these questions on the Facebook group itself. He will get support and coaching from Marco and Gary, which are the actual creators of RYS. So yeah. If you need anything else, Facu, go ahead to the RYS exclusive Facebook group and ask your question over there. Also, other members are having great results with affiliate marketing, and you can get the same too.
And local too now.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. The last question was, did you have success trying to rank G properties for affiliate promoting? And again, yes, for a couple LaunchJack case studies that we did in the masterclass. In fact, the one that we did for, Video Traffic X or whatever, which was the plugin from Walt Bayless and Andy Fletcher, that one we crushed it with using an RYS, and some of those properties are still ranked, even though I spammed the shit out of them because we had a limited window for that launch. And those properties ranked, the PDFs, the folders, the Google Slides, all that ranked really, really well. So, again, it's all about how you set them up. If you got to set them up properly and do all the ninja things that Marco was talking about earlier, which you can only find out if you purchase.
I would also add that if he's interested in really detailing and making his properties look more like landing pages so that they have CTAs and that they look really good, we're ramping up our our done for you services for RYS, and so just send us I would say send a support ticket, get on the waiting list, because as soon as we start pumping them out, we're not going to take 100 orders at once because there's no way that they can all be done in time, but we'll take 10, 15 orders, 10, 15, and we'll just space them out so that people know. Just because you send a support ticket to us letting us know that you're interested doesn't mean that you're obligated to buy. But I am suggesting that you go ahead and let us know that you're interested, so that when we do start the services, you'll be among the first people contacted for the services. But the quality and the difference is night and day between what the VA that's doing this has been taught to do, and what people who aren't familiar with sites can do. So.
Yeah. And the other part of that is there was a question in Andre's group the other day, in the SERPShaker group, about RYS, saying, well, you know, how valid is this strategy for real? Because Google Drive files, they're just not going to convert. People are going to click on them, it's going to look like shit, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, it is what you make of it. You know, if you just put up a freaking doc file that has just text on it and a couple links, then yeah, of course it's not going to convert well. But if you create a doc file with a banner, a graphic, a clickable graphic, a call to action, you make it like a landing page, then it's a hell of a lot more likely to convert. And the other part of that is it's still taking up valuable real estate on page 1 and knocking a competitor's link off page 1. So there's a lot of benefit in it, regardless. All right. Brian says, how come you do not do Tier 2 Ring with money blogs? Doesn't it power things like Blogger and Tumblr? You may have mentioned this, but I may have also missed it. Sorry. Yeah, Brian, it's been talked about multiple times in the IFTTT SEO Academy training. I'm not sure if you ever even picked it up, because a lot of the questions that you ask have been answered in there. But the reason I don't is you can do it with Tier 2, by the way, and the training says that. And it's just the way you set it up to eliminate or to reduce footprint, which is to set up additional Tier 2 triggers besides your own blog content. For YouTube channels, by the way, it doesn't matter. You can have full 2-tier networks, and you don't need to worry about related content feeds or additional triggers. You don't need to worry about it because there's not a footprint issue thus far. It may change in the future, but as it stands right now, it's still not an issue. But for money sites, if you're syndicating content to your Tier 1 ring, and in that content is syndicating out to Tier 2 rings that are persona-based, not branded, and it's the exact same content, even with the attribution link, it's clear what you're trying to do, and that's to manipulate search results, right? It's to manipulate your rankings, to artificially inflate your rankings, right? So if you're going to do Tier 2 networks for your money site or your blog, for blog syndication, then you need to cover your footprint as much as possible, and that's where you add related content feeds in at the Tier 2 trigger point to post related content, preferably from high authority, socially active sites that are going to be with the same topical relevance, that are going to be posting to your Tier 2 networks regularly, so that it buries your content among other related content from high authority sites. So that if somebody were to look at those blogs, a manual reviewer, it would look legit because it would look like a curated type blog. Whereas if you just have Tier 2 networks that are just posting the same content from your money site and your money network, your Tier 1 branded network, then it's going to be clear what it's doing. You built that for manipulating PageRank or manipulating SERP results. Okay? So again, the reason why I don't do Tier 2 rings for money site blogs is because I've got too many damn sites that I manage, and it's a lot of additional work and a lot of additional management. If you've only got a handful of sites to do and you want to set them up that way, by all means do it, and that's what the training shows or talks about. But when you got a bunch of sites to manage, it's just not worth it. Instead, what I do is I build up my Tier 1 ring and then really build up the authority and the power of that instead, because then I'm only managing one ring per site. Okay? George says, hello and happy holidays. My client has a G+ profile that is linked to their website, and I plan on syndicating their posts through IFTTT, but they want a separate G+ profile to be used for syndicating posts. Has a G+ profile that is linked to their website. I wonder why they want a separate one. That's kind of weird. If it's a Google+ page that's branded for their business, I would use that. And if they don't want it, then I would. I mean, especially for money site stuff. If it was YouTube, it wouldn't make a difference. But for money site blog syndication, I don't know why they wouldn't want you syndicating to their Google+ branded page. That really doesn't make any sense. Anyways, if that's what they want, I would either advise them to just forget about Google+ then, which is silly, or to you could set up another Google+ profile, or another Google+ page, but and that won't actually cause a problem. All right, here's the thing: if you have a local page and you can have a local page and a business page. What is the difference? A local page is going to show an address. When you visit it, it's going to show the business name, and it's going to have an address, a physical address, and a phone number. Sometimes if you opt to hide the address, then it'll just have the website address and the phone number instead of actually having a physical location, a physical address there. And it'll show. Oh, by the way, on the map, on the Google Plus page for a local page, it will show a little map, and it won't have a links section where you can add all your additional profile links. And that's also answered in the frequently asked questions at support.semanticmastery.com, because that question comes up all the time. Well, I don't have a links section on my Google Plus page. Why not? Because it's a local page that you're talking about. But then you can have a business page, and I've done this for many clients as well, where you can still have a business page, which is a typical Google Plus page that doesn't have a physical address, but it's called a brand page. And a brand page can then have all the links to it's going to not have a map, it's not going to have a physical address or a phone number shown at the very top, but you can add all of your additional links, which is why that's one of those semantic hubs, and that's what we teach inside the training. Okay? So, but my point is if you can syndicate to either a local page or a brand page. It doesn't matter. You can syndicate to either one. And if you've got a local page, it makes more sense to syndicate your post to your local page, because that's going to help it to rank in maps, right? Because it's that whole freshness factor, and that really does help if you're syndicating your posts to a local page. That said, if you have a local page and a business page, which is okay to have, that's not going to cause any problems. And for whatever reason your client doesn't want them being posted to a local page, which really doesn't make any sense, but if they don't want that, and they're the ones writing the check, then you can syndicate to the brand page and it won't harm anything. Okay? In fact, you can syndicate to both the brand page and the local page simultaneously, and that's not going to hurt anything either, because I've got a couple clients that I've been doing that for years, and it's never caused any problems. Okay? Should we just have one G Plus profile linked to at the website? Yeah, linking, you mean underneath the name? And you keep saying profile. Profile would be a persona, right? Would be, whether it's an actual person or a fake person, doesn't matter. There's difference between profiles and pages. Just make sure there's a clarification there. I know they sound similar, but there really is a difference between a profile and a page. And it doesn't matter. You can have more than one profile or page linking to the same website. It won't hurt anything. Okay? You just don't want multiple local pages pointing to any one website, because that'll cause confusion and it'll cause your maps rankings to tank. All right, we're almost out of time. We'll try to run through just a couple more, maybe only one more because they're a little bit longer. Yeah, we'll see. Let's try this. Kevin says, got a few more questions. Can I set up Google My Business without an address? Or if I use my personal address, will I get a bunch of business marketing flyers and crap in the mail, phone calls, etc.? Or does Google keep my business address, phone, etc. private from telemarketers? Okay. No. First of all, yes, you need a physical address to set up a My Business page, which would be, again, a local page. You have to have a physical address for that. If you use your own address, then yes, you're going to, and there's no sense of having a Google local page unless you're trying to rank in maps. And if you're going to try to rank in maps, then you're going to need to build citations. And citations are business directory listings. And so, yes, while you can opt to omit your physical address for some local pages, Google local pages, depending on your business type. If you're a service provider, for instance, a plumber, and you provide services at the customer's location, then you can choose to have your address hidden in Google Plus Local, in the Google Local page, the Maps page. You can choose to have your address hidden, and it will just give the phone number and the city, but not the actual street address, and then it will give you a link to the website. But if you're trying to, if you have customers come to your location, like a point of sale, for example, then you have to display your address. You can't get away from that, or you'll violate terms of service and you can get your page shut down. Okay, and so either way, even if you have a service type business where you provide services to the customer at the customer's location, and you opt to hide your physical address from the listing, which you can do, then in order for you to rank in maps, which is ultimately what you should be trying to do anyways, you're going to still need to build local business directory listings, or in business directory listings. So like Yelp and Yellow Pages and Angie's List and Judy's Book and Brown Book, all those different ones, right? And most of those are not going to give you the option to omit your address, your physical location. So your information is going to be public on the web anyways, right? And yes, by the way, anytime you create a local listing and you start to build citations, you will get hammered with sales calls from the business directories trying to upsell you on advertising services. There is no way around it, and Yelp is the worst of the bunch. Yelp is absolutely relentless. They will call you and call you and call you until you're ready to pull your hair out. Unfortunately, it is that way, and for that, I can't stand Yelp, but it's kind of a necessary evil. All right. Can I use a call tracking number or a Google Voice number as my business phone number in my Google My Business listing and citations I will create? I would recommend doing a tracking phone number, but not a Google Voice phone number. Yes, you can do it, but the problem is, what happens if Google ever decides to terminate your account for something? Then you've just lost the phone number. At least with the tracking number that you're paying for, it's very unlikely that it would ever get terminated, because as long as you're paying for it, you should be able to keep it. So I recommend using a virtual phone number and not a Google My Voice number. Again, you can, but I don't recommend it. How many citations and how quickly can I build citations? I see Fiverr gigs. Don't do Fiverr gigs for citations. There are such better services out there. Adam, if you can get the links ready, Marketer Center is, if you're on a budget, is a great service. Andrew Scherher, he's a great dude. He's got a really good citation building service for people that are on budgets. It's also for people that want to white label and resell citation building services. You can do that with him. If you want the Lamborghini or the Ferrari of citation building services, go to Loganix. That's semanticmastery.com/Loganix, Loganix. And they are hands down the best citation service I've ever seen, that I've ever used, and I've used just about every citation service you could imagine. Okay? Same thing for map citations. How many and how quickly then, plus do you run them through an indexer? Yeah, I always run all citations through an indexer. Map citations would be pretty much the same. I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. Note, my niche is to truck finance, with the biggest keyword gets 1,000 searches a month, and the rest of the money keywords between 100 and 800 searches. Okay. Should I suggest just hitting all my citations and map citations after they're created with GSA directly? I know I should probably do FCS contextuals first, but I am broke and would be using $15 SEO clerk Fiverr gigs to blast them. Again, don't recommend that. If you're going to do that, I would only do those to the no-follow citations. I would sort them by follow and do follow, the ones that have links pointing to your money site, and only do those types of spam gigs to your, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't even do that, because you got to treat those citations, guys, as tier 1 branded properties, right? Because they got your brand on them. So I treat, I don't spam those directly. I'll do another tier first and then spam that tier, the second tier. But you want to try to keep those kind of clean.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this. I mean, regarding contextual links, building contextuals, and then going with spam, whatever spam tool you're using. But yeah, keeping them clean, because you do not want to burn them. Because the minute you burn them, you're burning. It's kind of, you're pretty damn near your money site. Yeah. So.
All right, I know we hit the 5 o'clock mark. I'm going to answer Ed's, because Ed posted this on last week's events page on accident yesterday, so he should have been lower down here. But so I'm going to answer this, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys, because masterclass starts in just a moment. Hi guys, there are IFTTT recipes available for Pinterest, Facebook pages, LiveJournal, Flickr, and Reddit. Can these be added to IFTTT, Tier 1 Video Syndication Network, for more social embeds, etc.? I'm assuming we can also do RSS feeds to these properties from there, from our 3 blogs and our Tier 2 networks. Yes, Ed, you can use them. Pinterest is not something that I ever use much. I know there's a ton of traffic potential there. It's just something I never got into using. Facebook pages, absolutely. The only reason why we don't teach that in the training itself is because too many people don't follow directions properly, and they go out and try to create spam Facebook profiles instead of creating a page under their own profile, which is the correct way to do it. And we get support tickets saying, oh, it didn't work, and I got my Facebook account locked, and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's because you didn't listen. And so we just removed that entirely. LiveJournal, you can do a post by email, but you can't post directly to LiveJournal from IFTTT as far as I know, but you can do a post by email. But the problem is, for video syndication, is it will strip the embed, so you won't get an embed. You can post links, but the links aren't anchor text links either. They have to be naked URLs. So that's another reason why we didn't add it in there, because it's very limiting. Flickr, I haven't tested that myself, but Reddit, just give up. Don't even try it, because you will get your account terminated, because it's highly moderated. And if you start spamming stuff, it'll get terminated, so it's not even worth setting up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's karma-based. It's a great traffic leak, but it's not good use to automate.
That's right. Okay, after watching the Advanced RSS Academy training, I'm still a bit confused on how to use related content feeds to populate my Tier 1 Tumblr. Well, you don't. You don't populate your Tier 1 anything. That's strictly for Tier 2. And the Advanced RSS Academy is not to populate anything. It's to gather your feeds and create super feeds from your Tier 1 properties that you submit to aggregators and directories. It has nothing to do with populating content anywhere. Okay, so the Advanced RSS Academy is about creating feeds of your branded content, your money site content or your YouTube channel content, and pushing it to aggregators and directories. Okay. I know last week you said not to mash up the feeds due to attribution links. You're confusing Advanced RSS Academy with Tier 2 strategies, Ed. They're completely different things. Advanced RSS Academy was specifically to give your networks more power, but it has nothing to do with syndicating content. Okay? If you're going to be talking about syndicating content with related content feeds, we just talked about that earlier in today's Hump Day Hangout. It's for Tier 2 triggers, so that you can post on a full 2-tier network for blog content, and it's to help reduce your footprint for those Tier 2 networks, pointing back to your money site, and that's all it's for. And you don't splice the feeds, you do individual triggers per content source. Okay? In the training, it seems to me, and I may be mistaken, that you suggest using Chimpfeeder and others to mix our RSS feeds for related content. Again, Ed, I'm sorry, but you're completely confusing the two, and that's where the confusion is. I can see that from your question. Treat our Advanced RSS Academy completely separate from any sort of syndication training, because it's not a syndication method. It's to build additional backlinks to already syndicated content. That's it. Okay? Anyways, hopefully that makes sense. Okay? Guys, we got to wrap it up. We're running late already. So Merry Christmas once again to everybody. I hope everybody enjoys their holiday. We will see you guys next week for the end of year Hump Day Hangout.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Merry Christmas. Bye.